Forgive my slightly noisy background here today. Stopped here at this little park to take a lunch break. Just because my usual spot, all the lawn people are over there blowing shit around with leaf blowers, which is even more annoying. So I came over here. I saw something today, just kind of blew my mind. I talked before one time about the adventure that Paul, old dog new tricks, is having with his home build in the Philippines. And some of you have probably seen some of his videos about that. You can always go look them up and see what the whole story is. But I was kind of stunned today to discover that this is an expat. This guy who's been scamming everybody, stealing their money to build a house. I guess it kind of surprised me, and everybody else, I guess, just assumed too it was a Filipino. Probably because most of us thought, how is an expat running a building company over there? I know the Armstrong family, you see some of those videos and stuff. But I always thought that if you were running a business over there as a foreigner, had to be like maybe 40% at the most in your name, 60% a local, But the question that amazes me is, why do people give somebody a whole bunch of money up front to build them a house? I mean, we built a house back there, last year. It's been almost a year and a half now, since we started it and everything and got going on it. But we kind of paid as it went, We gave them the money they needed to buy the supplies and all of that, and paid the laborers every week. But we weren't paying somebody a bunch of money up front and then trusting them to build us something, Apparently there's people with that other guy actually still living here in the United States who, according to Paul, aren't going to be able to retire now, because I guess they sent him so much money that losing it now and not having anything to show for it over there, that they actually have to keep working. I just don't know how somebody does that kind of shit, What makes you give somebody your money like that up front? And honestly, for me anyways, these expats over there, anytime I hear about some expat over there who's supposedly a bigwig in the stock market, or like this guy supposedly has all these millions and millions of dollars in Bitcoin and shit like that, and talking big, a bunch of BS about how he was going to liquidate all his Bitcoin and sell all his land to cover the cost of building all these people's houses for himself. First of all, who believes that bullshit anyways, Anytime I hear a story like that, especially from some expat somewhere, I just think this guy is a fucking liar, It's like somebody sitting there wanting to tell you all about all the black ops they were a part of when they were a Navy SEAL or a CIA paramilitary guy or some shit, There's a hell of a lot more fake Navy SEALs than there are real ones. And for every guy who actually has millions and millions and millions of dollars in Bitcoin and is making it big in the stock market, there are like 1,000 or 10,000 others who will tell you that they are. So for me, being around somebody like that anyways is just a huge red flag, because I don't believe they're bullshit, I just don't. So that's a crazy story. But it just amazed me to hear that there are people willing to do that, just put up that much money and trust somebody that they're going to build them something. I don't know if it's just because he was an expat. The only kind of person I can see starting a building company in the Philippines as an expat is somebody who's trying to make money off of other expats, because they sure as hell aren't going to make enough money to make it worth their while just being a local, building contractor, unless they've got government contracts and stuff. And certainly there are plenty of people with an inside track on that shit over there themselves who are already Filipinos, who know all the right people to give the kickbacks to and everything, and the right families to be cutting in on the deal, that some foreigner, some expat isn't going to do it, I don't know. It just amazed me. It's an amazing story to me. Fortunately, I guess Paul didn't give a huge amount of money up front. But like I say, when we built our house, we paid them the money they needed for supplies to go and get the stuff they needed. We made sure they were paid. We had snacks and everything for them while they were building it. But we didn't hand somebody $100,000 or something and say, here, okay, go build us a house now. I can't even picture somebody being that dumb, but that sounds kind of judgmental. But man, don't do it. If you're gonna build a house in the Philippines, I mean, we weren't actually there physically. We handled things through my wife's mom, and it was people that my wife's family knew, you know, my wife and her mom, and they were always in constant communication about everything. But man, I don't know. I wouldn't trust an expat in the Philippines with anything personally. I don't know, so many people run off to other countries because they're scammers and bullshit artists anyways, you know, and they can't make it here in America because people here have a much easier time being able to find out the truth about them. And over there, apparently, if somebody is a piece of shit who does that kind of stuff, then if you try and tell other people about him and warn them, then they can sue you. You know, what kind of shit is that? But sooner or later, if he robs that many people of money, somebody's going to take him out, you know? People get killed for a whole lot less than that in the Philippines, so the guy probably needs to be watching his back, you know? I'm sure somebody's looking for him. But anyways, I just wanted to express my amazement. Don't pay somebody up front to build you a house in the Philippines, or anywhere, I would say. I mean, if you can't see something happening, they sure as hell shouldn't have any of your money. Just don't do it. You know, expats in the Philippines should just be expats. They should be chilling, not running scams on other people. You hear somebody talking big about themselves in the stock market and Bitcoin and shit like that, probably run the other way, because they're just a bullshit artist.